All right, all right. What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday, Hump Day, as I like to call it. Spencer Israel, who hosts a pre-market show, he doesn't like calling it Hump Day, but Hump Day is what I call Wednesdays. And guys, today is a bad day. You all, and especially Neil. I dragged Neil back onto the show today because you all screwed me. Yesterday, I got peer pressured by a combination of Neil and the chat to buy calls in NIO. I mean, let's go ahead and and look at how these. I mean, let's jump straight into it.
You were loving every minit of it. I've never
I
seen someone
was.
enjoy being peer pressured like you.
All right, so check this out. So here's the live portfolio, right? We got it sorted gainers to losers right now. This is the order that we're going in. All right, and yeah, somebody said hit the like, Steve. Thank you. Yes, hit the like. Come on, guys. But all right, gainers to losers up on top. Ford. We got a Ford pick. We made that one last week. 7.5%. Take that all day. But let's just scroll down to the losers here at the bottom. All right, down 68% today. We have our NIO calls that we bought yesterday.
It's gonna come back. I mean,
I got 2 days. You told me to buy the Friday expiration.
so much can happen in 2 days, man.
I mean, with that stock, a lot can happen in 2 days. But as it stands right now, I lost $300 for Neil's entertainment purposes. So
Yeah, and I feel great about it. I appreciate you doing that. I would love to do another Friday expiration options trade.
but check this
I'm
out.
wondering-
So we're still net positive on the day, right? And look at all the green that we have. We got some good stock picks here. We got a couple reds, you know, not a ton, but a couple stocks that are off a little bit. Then we get down to here, down 67% on the call. I mean, guys, come on now.
So
I mean,
is that your worst trade in a
Jesus.
while, would you say? Have you done worse than that in the past couple weeks?
No, that's the worst trade in a long while. Everybody's been following the show for a little bit knows that I've been spitting some fire these past few weeks. We had Snap, we had Palantir, we got Moderna. We've been having some hot stocks, baby. I'm living up to the name, but that trade that wasn't entirely my own didn't go too well. And we'll look at Ride in a minute. That's the other hot EV stock today. But check this out.
Something to point out though is that this is a show where you're making the actual trades. You're actually losing your ass.
Yes, exactly.
On
This
the trades
is
that
no
you're making.
like CNBC talking heads, right? I mean, we're as transparent as we get. When we're buying stocks, I mean, we this is the live portfolio that we have up. Every trade that we're recommending and talking about, we're throwing it up here for everybody's I mean, not just entertainment, but for knowledge, right? We all want to make money together. And some of these ideas we've pulled out of the chat, which is great. And that's where we'll get to Ride in just a second here. And all right, there we go, Damon. You'll be fine by Friday. Yeah, all right, guys, give me a quick heads up or I don't know, give me a quick vote, right? If you think I'm okay in this NIO trade, again, what the trade was is we bought calls expiring Friday at the $50 strike into earnings yesterday after the close. All right, so if you think I'm okay, again, $50 strike Friday, give me a 1 in the chat. If not, give me a 2. And really, that means the stock has to get to like $55 by Friday for it to be a decent trade. So, yeah, I think it's sort of tough. Let's just recap the numbers really quick. The numbers actually looked good, I thought, on the thing. When I first saw them, I was like, all right, I might be in a decent spot here. But all right, check this out. So we had EPS. They lost 12 cents for a 17-cent estimate. Revenue, they reported 666,666 there. That's Neil's favorite number, beating the $655 million estimate. Oh my God, look at all these twos. I'm screwed. All right, so
they don't know.
We've got about 22s, people saying I'm screwed in this trade. All thanks to Neil. That's why we dragged him back on today. We've got one person saying that we're good. And somebody did give a shout out. Look at Ford. Again, Ford is a stock that we bought yesterday. This thing is on fire. We're already up 8%, which is great on a stock like Ford in 5 days. And we put way more money into Ford than we did into this little NIO thing. But yeah, the Satan 666 NIO trade not going well for us.
I don't want that to stick. That's not good for my brand, guys.
All right. So anyways, all right. We talked about NIO. We'll get to Lordstown Motors in a second here. But some other stocks that we bought recently. Ford we touched on. Home Depot HD. That's a stock that we bought live on the show yesterday. I don't know what our average price was in Home Depot. Let's find that real quick. Home Depot average price of 270, so we're pretty much flat on this one again. We bought Home Depot basically on a couple catalysts here. There was weakness after what I think was a really good earnings report and guidance. And then also we're going into the holiday travel season. 80% of Americans who normally travel say that they're not going to be traveling. People are going to be doing home upgrades. They're going to be inside more. They're going to be tinkering on stuff. So again, they got good earnings, good guidance, good story. So that's why we added Home Depot yesterday. Moderna. This is another one. If everybody's traded this one with me, you're doing okay. We're still way up on Moderna from where we got in about a couple of weeks ago. We cut half the position yesterday. Great. Stock's down 3.5% today. So we're still halfway in this thing. I still think there's going to be more upside long term, but the early trade, the quick 30-40% run that we have, we took half the money off the table. We're basically the shares that we have left. We more or less have for free at this point, or we bought them at a very, very low average price, given that we took half the money off the table. And then yesterday we did sell Curaleaf before earnings. So we feel good about that one too. I mean, the stock, it's not like a crazy move. The stock is down 3% after earnings. And that's one that we dumped during the show yesterday. And Andre, shout out. He got into Home Depot with us yesterday. I dig it.
I want to look at Ford and Tesla. Which one should we buy? Should we chase on these?
All right, I'm going to throw another ticker in first. Are you looking at my screen, Yilski? Look at this one. Lordstown Motor, Ride, Romeo, India, Delta, Echo. Going crazy. This is the 2-day chart.
Oh, shit.
So a 2-day move, we got 22 to 29. Let's look at the monthly chart. Woo! It's moving. So and then you want to look at Tesla too?
Yeah, I mean, we got to.
Yeah, you got to
look at it.
Wait, why is Tesla okay? So they got an upgrade. So they had the S&P 500 thing, and then they caught the upgrade. All right, good. I feel good about this. Somebody asked about Tesla yesterday. I said, yeah, I like it on the S&P 500 inclusion.
Someone mentioned Fastly yesterday. Fastly's up today.
All right, so we got some good stocks in here. But let's all right. So the EVs, Neil, do you like them chasing them into this or no?
It depends on if they're reaching all-time highs. It depends on which stock. Like Tesla, I like
Lordstown's all-time highs for sure.
No, it's not. I think it's approaching, right?
No, it's way above it.
Okay. Yeah, I think pile into all-time highs.
Yeah,
But watch them and keep your stops tight. We like all-time highs here.
Exactly. My opinion is always the same for these type of stocks. I'm not getting into them when they've got this crazy run up. But if you're already in these stocks, let the momentum ride. The trend is your friend. The momentum carries them. Don't fall into the bad habit of selling your winners too early. Stick with the stock, but put the stops in.
We're shy of all-time highs on Ride.
On Ride?
Yeah, right? Is that what you're talking about? Lordstown Motors Corp?
Yeah. Are we at all-time highs?
All-time
highs? Somebody clear this up. Neil and I are disagreeing.
Hey, maybe I need to get a new prescription for my glasses.
I'm seeing the high as being today.
High was in September.
Oh, all right. Wait,
what's because your candles don't have wicks.
Yes, they do. No, not all time. All right, you're right. We're not at all-time highs. 31. Chris Catchy coming in saying the all-time high was at 31 there.
Thank you, Chris.
So there's the trade there. And guys, let's just get some momentum into these EV names because I need to carry my NIO trade. Let's go. We got to make $10 in NIO in 2 days.
The NIO trade's a winner, baby. Buy more. Buy more. They're on sale. 60% off.
Lower the average price.
Let's go.
I'll buy another contract if you do. I mean, at this point, it's only $87.
I'm getting one.
Are you doing it?
Yeah, I'll put some skin in the game.
All right, I'm gonna average it down. God, I'm gonna lose $400 in the stupid NIO trade. There we go. Now it's down to 72. All right. How do we buy?
Wait, which strike price did you do?
50 Friday. All right. We just lowered the average price. There we go. Yeah, we're still screwed in that trade.
I was about to complain about how expensive it was, but I was looking at puts, which are like.
And I would be remiss, guys, if I didn't mention that at 12:30 we're having our regular face of the show on, Mr. Jason Raznick, founder and CEO here at Benzinga. So that's just a few minutes from now, and he's going to be doing Benzinga history. He's going to talk about how the business got started. He's going to talk about where the name came from. He's going to talk about how we started building the presence and the brand that we have in the financial media space. So again, 12:30 sharp. Mr. Raznick, he's going to be coming on. I think he's getting ready right now to talk a little bit of BZ history with you guys. And look at that, Glideman. He's also getting into the NIO trade. Let's go.
Let's all blow up.
Let's all blow up. All right. That's why I don't trade like that, but you peer pressured me into it yesterday.
I mean, no one really should be trading like that. It's absolutely irresponsible.
Yeah, it's super irresponsible.
But there are definitely some great times for buying calls that we can talk about.
But all right, Zinger Nation, I want to make sure before we have Jason coming on, I want to get to our chat challenge of the week. I've got the spreadsheet pulled up here. And again, this is the place where we all compete against each other, right? Every week we're throwing out some sort of challenge, some sort of stock that you've got to pick. Either up or down, and we're competing for some limited run Benzinga merchandise along with an Amazon gift card. So this week, the question was, what is going to be the best performing COVID-related stock? It's got to be somehow COVID-related. It can be a lockdown stock. It can be a reopening stock. It can be a vaccine play, a pharma play, a testing play, whatever it is. Sorry, we got kicked out of the office here in Michigan. So we asked for what is going to be the best performing COVID-related stock. I'm going to do the big unveil now. Here's where we're sitting 1 day into the challenge. Final winner will be announced this Friday. Up on top, we've got a cheater here on a couple fronts. Scott, he put in 2 tickers, and I don't think that either of them are COVID plays. So I think it's a little bit questionable whether Scott is really on top here. Coming into third place, we've got CRSR. I believe that's a pharma play. Then we have ZOM. I don't know what that stock is. Fubo, LCUT, LCA, Penn. Yeah, see, these ones are all very clear. Yeah, we're getting some chatters. They're saying get Scott out of there, because those are definitely not COVID stocks. But when we tally up the final winners at the end of the week, well, you're going to have to justify to us whether or not this was a COVID play, and the chat's going to vote whether they think your story is legit. Like, how do you justify that Lordstown Motor is a COVID play? I don't know. CRSR, it's not CRISPR Therapeutics. It's a gaming stock. Gaming, I think you can call that one as a COVID play. Jumaya, absolutely not a COVID play. I don't think. Maybe.
Yeah, shop at home, dude.
Yeah, shop at home. Okay. All right. Maybe
I'm here for you guys.
One of those in there. But I'm just giving you guys a scroll down the list right now, so you can all see where you stand. My pick of the week was Nautilus, ticker NLS, November Lima Sandy. Basically, the thesis that I had, stock was down, Peloton was up. I think that if gyms get closed down again in several states, it should be a nice little pickup for some of those workout from home type stocks. So that was my pick, Nautilus. Zoom hanging out there at the bottom.
Sorry, Wendy. I'm not in last place. I feel good about that.
What was your pick?
Big shout out, Wendy, for having a worse pick.
I'm middle of the pack. I'm 21 right now, 1%.
I'm negative.
Special.
I had Upwork.
You had Upwork?
Yeah.
All right, we need to get Neil off the show. This is Neil's last day on the show. After that NIO trade,
I'm out of here.
Yeah. All right. ZM, I see some people chatting about ZM. Wendy's and ZM. I do still like Zoom. That's obviously our favorite video communications platform. This is basically my re-lockdown stock. Our valuation's high, yes. Does this stock trade off of valuation? No. Does it trade off of momentum, off of news, off of rumors, that sort of thing? Yes, absolutely it does. So basically I'm thinking, okay, if we get some more lockdown news and restrictions, Zoom is going to be should have some room to run. I am in this thing. I bought it on the show. at 440. So we're down about 10% or so in our Zoom position. We're watching it closely. We almost got out of it. We didn't. Somebody's asking about 500 strike calls for January. I don't know. I don't like doing short-term calls at all ever, because you have so many things to play with. It's not only you need to get the direction right, you also need to get the size of the move right, and you need to get the timing right. Like if we talk about our Ford example, that was something that we picked as a long-term stock. We've been lucky; the stock's up 8% in the past couple sessions. But this is something that we labeled as a long-term pick. I don't want to have to time this thing. Somebody's asking, "Are you in Inseego?" Neil, what's your answer to that question?
Not currently. I have
You're
been
not.
many times.
I'm in
Oh,
Inseego.
what is it at right now? I haven't looked at it in probably a year.
I don't have it in the brokerage account. I do have it in my IRA. I've been in Inseego forever. I mean, since like $2.50, I think, for years. I mean, like,
I sold
let's see.
in
Yes,
the teens,
4
and now I
years.
see that it's at 940.
Yep.
So I think so. I had Inseego and Shopify at the same time, and I just took profits on them. Shopify, I wish I would have held. Inseego, not really kicking myself right now.
Yeah, no, but I do like Inseego. Neil, we had Matt on, who's our Inseego 5G expert. He
Okay.
gave the thesis on Inseego. I do like this stock. I actually meant to add it into the brokerage account yesterday. We just ran out of time on the show, and now I clicked out of the account. So maybe we'll have to do that one for tomorrow. So again, I like buying them on here for the sake of transparency. Again, this is not any talking head CNBC type show. I mean, we're literally making these trades in front of all you guys. We have our winners, we have our losers. So Inseego, I do like. Haven't added it to the brokerage account yet, but maybe if we have some time tomorrow, we'll be adding that one in tomorrow.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna look at Inseego. Did they have a deal with like T-Mobile, Sprint, or anyone around 5G?
Yeah, they've got a
With
ton of
phones?
deals. A ton
Okay.
of deals.
Okay,
Yeah.
then.
Like 20, I think, globally, right? Not just in the US. So something else I want to talk about. Again, this is the trade idea show. We're doing this every day to bring the trade ideas, serious trades, not like our NIOs where we're goofing around, but serious trades that we're actually adding into the portfolio. So something I want to talk about. We mentioned this one yesterday. Now we've got a little bit more data, a little bit more follow through. I want to ask everybody, do you like the pharmacy stocks on the news of Amazon getting into the pharmacy business? So these are stocks like WBA, stocks like RAD, that's Rite Aid, and then we'll add CVS as well. So those are the three big pharmacy stocks we're watching. So in the chat, let's crowdsource this one out. And guys, if you're watching on the Facebook or you're watching on LinkedIn, Twitter, we are using the chat that we're seeing come through on YouTube. So go ahead to that Benzinga YouTube page. And guys, please hit the like button. We're putting ourselves on the line and throwing these trade ideas out. So please hit the like for us. But all right, pharmacy stocks, real quick. If you guys like the pharmacies, they sold off yesterday on the heels of that Amazon getting into the pharmacy business news. Here's a 5-day chart I'm going to pull up and rotate through them all. If you guys like the pharmacies right here after the sell-off, press 1. If you don't like pharmacies, give us a 2. So that's the trade there. Here's my thesis. I don't love them after this sell-off. Here's the way that it seems like a lot of these businesses and industries that Amazon gets into go. It is basically they get hammered and then they figure it out and are back on the upswing, right? The two examples that I gave yesterday, we had Best Buy, right? Everybody started buying electronics online. Best Buy got hammered. It was a dog for years. They figured it out, and now it's a nice, steady, strong stock. Barnes & Noble, same case, right? Everybody started buying books online. Barnes & Noble got hammered. It was a dog for years. They figured it out. Now it's up on the upswing. So let's take a look at this one here. So let's see. We've got, a lot of 2s and a lot of 1s. All right, it's sort of a mixed bag. I would guess that we maybe have 15 people who don't like it and maybe 10 that do like these. So I don't know. I think it's a 50-50.
I'm only half
the big
convinced,
pharmacies.
man. The services that a pharmacy services and products that a pharmacy provides are more than just drugs.
What are you saying? Like my 7-Eleven style shopping that I do?
Yeah, so like where you get your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that type of food.
Yep. Yep. I do like those CVS sandwiches.
Yep.
We get them half off a day old.
You're going in there, you're getting your shots. I would imagine that a lot of these companies are going to up their game. We already know that they're going to be distributing COVID vaccinations.
That's huge.
Yep. I don't know how Amazon does that. They don't do that. You can't, as far as I know, get it delivered to you. Oh my goodness.
What up, guys?
Oh, yo.
What up? You missed some trades. We've had a hot couple trades these past 2 days.
Come on. What about Upwork? What about Bitcoin, GBTC? Come on. What do you got? What kind of trades? You beating me?
All right. Here's the one that we threw in.
Yeah, and I bought at 15, 16, 17. It's at 34. Take a hike.
All right, that's a good one. We bought Home Depot on weakness after what I think was a pretty good earnings report and guidance. We did dump Curaleaf before earnings. That one got hit a little bit after earnings, and we sold half of our Moderna up about 40%. So those were the trades that we made. We did make one really bad trade.
Which one? What's that?
Neil peer pressured me into buying NIO calls that expire in 2 days, and they're down 80%.
Ones?
NIO, $50 strikes.
Yeah, I heard you bought it yesterday in the show. I got like 20 messages that yesterday was the best Benzinga show. I wasn't on.
Was that right, guys? Was it not the best show that we had yesterday?
I mean,
we were out there. We were talking about Roombas. We were talking about NIO.
Do they say that about every show, Luke? Because I kind of felt like they were saying a lot of nice stuff about us.
No, they don't say that every time. Definitely not.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, and then someone maybe let me into what you guys were doing. I think he felt bad. But I interviewed Dave Portnoy yesterday. It was supposed to be 45 minutes. It was an hour and 30 minutes until this one guy in our company was like, Jason, we should go. I'm like, I didn't get to ask my two really whatever. We're going to release them starting like Friday and on. There's some.
Oh, yeah, look at this chat. Yeah, such a good show. It was the best show ever yesterday. All right.
Yeah,
except for Frank S. I mean, Frank S. I don't know.
You guys hurt my feelings. You know.
Well, now's your chance to redeem yourself. Are we gonna get some Benzinga history or not?
Yes. So Benzinga history.
Using this thing.
I know. Well, I'm at home, as you guys. Well, I don't know. I'm in the basement, and the Wi-Fi. It's a whole thing. So, anyways, it's Benzinga history time.
Wait. But before you get going, the dog that's on the wall behind you, does it have a name?
Holy cow! I've never been down here before, really.
Could you hold it and pet it while you take us through Benzinga history?
But as I was looking for Benzinga history stuff, I just found this letter. It's from my grandparents to my parents, March 7th, 1978, the day I was born. About me. You know?
Super cute. That's so
super cute. I was looking for stuff.
Big letdown from when that letter.
I got some paraphernalia, just so I got some like my signs of old businesses. I got.
Wait, hold that last one up. Yeah, Neil needs these. Neil, write these down.
I got an unemployment check.
Singles
here.
Dating site.
So
there you go. Okay.
History time, and I'm going to try to do it quickly and professionally, and mix in with a little bit of me. But I just want to make sure our fellow team members are here as well, because this is why we are doing that.
Yeah, we've got some Benzinga family here. We're all zingers in this.
Yeah. I mean, this basement. It's kind of like a dungeon. If I can take you around, it looks. I don't know. Someone may be living under the basement. That's what I think. But all right. And there's gonna be some shirts. I'm taking you through a history of Benzinga swag and all this kind of stuff. I have a few shirts on, if you can tell. But all right, can we just get started?
Yeah, get it rolling. You want me and Neil to disappear? We'll buzz off.
There isn't gonna be much stocks. I mean, you guys can stay there, but you can turn off your video for a minute if you want to chime in a little bit. We're gonna start with something that'll give you a little bit of the history real quick. So this is like a few minute thing. Take a look. And Brent, I read you. By the way, Brent, in the Dave Portnoy, we talked about you. And I don't know. I don't think you'll be mad at me, but we talked about you for a second. I'll tell you later. All right. Here we go.
Benzinga.
It has a nice ring to it, but what does it mean?
It's a made-up word.
That's Jason Raznick, the CEO of Benzinga.
My grandfather and I, we were like, I told you I went to speech tutor, and like we just like make up words sometimes. And Benzinga is one of these, can be a catchy word actually. It's been in my head for a long time. And when we came up with the company, we wanted something that we could create a strong brand. So we wanted something that didn't, have any particular meaning.
And while the name is made up, the company certainly is not. This financial media site gives consumers investment ideas pegged to breaking news. And with over 1 million unique visitors a month, it's picking up steam fast.
There's a lot of stuff going on internationally, in Greece, the EU. You could probably do a Google search and find 1 million results. We take that news and deliver ideas based off that news. So it gives investors the knowledge of what they can do with it. This was once only available to hedge funds.
Raznick's idea of democratizing the investment industry by having researchers and analysts, many of them former Wall Streeters, writing up different strategies for the average consumer to think about was a big one. But this brainstorm has humble beginnings.
Now, I wanted to start this company. I didn't have any money for an office space and didn't want to commit to an office space.
Walking through the suburbs of Detroit, Raznick reflects on his startup's whirlwind rise and shows me the house where Benzinga began. It seems incredible, but it was only 18 months ago that Jason started his business out of this basement.
I still remember having such an important phone call right in the spot right over here because the dryer fan was so loud over there that it caused, like, the person's like, "What's that noise?" And I knew the buzzer was about to go off, so I had to go right here and put stuff around me so the noise wasn't loud. Started
in Michigan, the self-proclaimed stock market junkie says his company is staying in Michigan, despite the fact that many of the businesses Benzinga writes about are in more metropolitan areas.
The value add to being in Michigan, there's tremendous value adds. I mean, there's a real sense of community and culture here. We're trying to be part of that turnaround story. We are not trying to be, we are part of the turnaround story. And we're going to be a much bigger one. We want to be one of those great companies like a General Motors or, a Kellogg that is in Michigan, that's been here for a long time.
Today, the company is growing with 26 employees and looking to hire.
Yo, what's up?
We've grown fast, but there's a lot of human legwork. It's not all automated.
Focused most closely on small to mid-cap companies, it has partnerships with big-name news sites like Reuters. But for Jason, it's taken a lot to achieve such high achievements. You had a hard time growing up, correct?
Oh.
I mean, you did work extremely hard to get where you are. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
You mean when I was younger, school? Yeah. I mean, I had to outwork. I had to outwork the average person to had homework. They would finish it in an hour. It would take me 3 hours, 4 hours, but I invested that time. Back in, elementary school, they're like, "You're never gonna be able to read."
They said that to your mother, correct?
Yeah. They said you'll never be able to read, and that was definitely probably a very hard time for my parents. I was too young to really remember it, but I remember I remember having to go to another room or LRC to have my work modified. And I hated that because it made me feel like I was different.
Raznick said it was his family who gave him the confidence to push on in school.
My dad always says, "What are the last 4 letters of American? I can."
And he says he tries to instill a similar confidence in people who work for him.
So congrats to Joe for already taking that initiative and really.
He also pushes people to rethink their approach to work.
We got rid of the word work. It's like a bad word here. It's like it's one of the worst words you could possibly say. Like, I'm going to work, and don't come in here because we don't. When you think of work, you're like, I'd rather be home or something. This is a place to create and build.
That sort of motto fits with the company's serious but fun philosophy. They pass a football to the employee of the week every Friday.
My job wouldn't be so easy if it wasn't for you guys.
And all come together for a huddle at the end of meetings. 1, 2, 3, zing! And you guessed it right, zing, another made-up word. But that's how Raznick says they like it. That way they can create their own meaning.
It sort of means like awesome, like great, like that's what it means. Like, we want to be zingified. We want to be, we want to do everything amazing. We want to deliver amazing.
Reporting in Southfield, Michigan, I'm Christina Scotti.
All right. All right. Hopefully that gave you a little bit of the history of the company without me telling all that story stuff and showing where it started. That call that I had in the basement when the washing machine was going on in a rented house that had a flood in the basement was with a guy at Stockfoot. I still remember. He's like, "What's that noise?" I'm like, "Oh, the office is just buzzing," and the buzz was the washing machine going off. I was like, trying to like quiet that down, but those were the beginning days. So I'm gonna read some of the comments. That was awesome. Okay. All right. So Benzinga team. Why Benzinga? Why does it exist? Why? Well, back in college, I loved looking at small cap companies. I turned out like a little bit of a talent for doing heavy research on small cap companies. I found my folders of these. These are each one of these files in here are different companies that I would research that were small cap. And I lived on a street called East University. And I would email CEOs of companies, and I said I was East Capital, some hedge fund. I was like 20 years old. I didn't know what I was doing. And I would get like nothing like inside, but stuff that would give me more color, why a company, how it makes revenue and all that kind of stuff. Similar stuff to being a customer of Upwork, just like that kind of thing. And I would start posting in Yahoo message boards. Well, when that happened, the CEOs of these companies, one was called Versar, VSR was a symbol. It was on the Amex. Remember the Amex? The CEO, Dr. Ted Prostive at the time, reached out to me, to my Yahoo address. I don't even know how he had it. Like, I don't even understand. One of the reasons he reached out to me is because he sold shares. This was a 9/11 play after like they did the anthrax cleaning and all that kind of stuff. And he like gave me his whole thing. So then I'd go post to Yahoo message boards and say what I said. I didn't have much money. I didn't know what I was doing. I would post stuff and the stocks would move like a real amount. And it happened like multiple times. I did this with a company called Envision that was trading. It was on the NASDAQ and it didn't have options, but I didn't have much money. So I called the Amex, the exchange, or the CBOE. Can you get options on Envision? Because I knew the stock, this was the security machine that you would walk through. My whole file on Envision is in this box here. So I have like these, see the stocks folder. This is where you also see where I sold Amazon at $7, Leap Wireless, all these different companies. And and so Envision got options on it. I'm sure it wasn't because of me calling the CBOE. I was 21, didn't know what the heck I was doing. 3 months later, GE bought Envision for a 500% gain on that. And when I realized, this was, back in 2001, I realized there's not a dearth or not a lot of information on smaller cap companies. The big companies are covered by everyone. And to have a unique differentiated take, an info arbitrage type play, you need, maybe small caps are the edge. And I was good at uncovering little things about small cap companies. And that is kind of the genesis for Benzinga. So my take was that there's smart people everywhere. They're not in some square office that know the most about it. So we have a guy in Alan Broxian on the cannabis stocks, who's one of the smartest guys in the world on cannabis stocks and cannabis companies. He's not in our office, but he's a part of us. And that's how I felt like we could create a small cap service to provide small cap news focused, for the investor to give them an edge. I mean, I had an edge on Versar, Envision, Upwork. I mean, but back then it was different companies. I could name a ton more. And I didn't really know what I totally had. Well, I started working for the at some point. There's a guy named James Altucher. He brought me in, and I still remember to this day, Amazon, well, the years get confusing, but Amazon was a public company, and they introduced AWS. And I wrote a post in Columnist Conversation on Real Money. I was a Real Money writer, and then I helped, assist James on running Real Money at one point. And I wrote when Amazon got AWS, the stock is a buy. And it was like at $68. And I remember Doug Cass and Jim Cramer chewed me out saying that, they're not focused. This is the dumbest move they ever made, etc. And listen, hindsight, we all have the benefit of hindsight. I'm not saying they were wrong at that time, because maybe for the year then it could have been that, but I'm 26 then. I'm like, oh, well, they know a lot more than me. So I got out of it. I'm like, okay, I guess maybe I'm wrong. I just thought it was good because Amazon had a bunch of servers are using unused capacity to sell it. And it was just, then I researched it more. I found a guy, you know, it wasn't even LinkedIn yet, but I found a guy online who like knew the whole server space business, and that helped me understand AWS. But those kind of things brought up Benzinga, where I was like, why do we have to wait for an analyst to put an upgrade on Tesla to start covering it or get the knowledge on it? Why can't we use the crowd, the smart people that you can trust to bring ideas? So Benzinga was like the trade and idea network that's how it kind of started, focused on small caps. And then I remember this, like one site said we couldn't use that tagline, but so that was how it started. It was focused on small caps. There was a guy named Tom Sosnoff who was the CEO. Well, he had a company called Thinkorswim that Ameritrade bought. He saw the small cap newsfeed that I created in my basement. In my basement, it was just me. So I was me and others that were remote. And then one guy, Brian, who I eventually hired from Craigslist, didn't know him, but I didn't have any money either. Like everything I got in revenue, I ate what I killed. Like it was the most anxious, anxiety stuff that I could ever imagine. I would wake up at 3 a.m. and couldn't sleep. When I say my level of anxiety was high, that is a understatement. It was to the point where like my heart was beating out of my chest, and it was one of it was for a good 6 months. It was, I mean, there's always times, but like it was one of those things. I had a 3-month-old baby at home, and so there was tons of anxiousness. I wake up at 3 a.m. and I couldn't go to sleep, and I didn't know what tomorrow would bring. I was business development for Benzinga. I was content for Benzinga. I was advertising. I was writing. All of the above. I found developers, I found hosts, I got writers, and it was run through my basement. And when you start a company, it can't just be yourself. You have to like fake it till you make it. You're gonna hear in the Barstool interview tomorrow, or when it comes out, Dave Portnoy had like 6 pseudonyms. He even like put fake advertisements in his newspaper to get more credible stuff, and it's a hilarious story. I had to do the same thing. I had not the advertisements, but I had to have more writers. If it's just me, no one wants to see just me. So I had to be like, it's a fake it till you make it. It's a common thing amongst like when you first start a company. That was a short time where I had to be bigger than I am. So what I mean is, I don't mean the writers on the site. I'm saying when someone called in, I was like, I couldn't always be Jason Raznick. It had to be like another person. My biggest issue was I couldn't do a girl voice. I had this Karen name and I couldn't do this girl voice. And so I'm like, I looked for voice coaches, and there was no voice coaches like in Michigan that I could find. So I'm like, maybe I need to move to New York. But you have to like have someone answer the phone, or like this Karen was the head of marketing. I just needed to have like I'd answer the phone, Jason Raznick, and then I'm like passing off to Karen Johnson. It was not easy because it's like you got to be bigger than just yourself. And that's in a lot of companies. So that's sometimes the challenges, but you got to go out there and make it happen. You can't use the excuse, we're just one person. I can't do this. You just have to, figure it out. Now with remote workers and all that, I could have had more people doing that. But so that's how it started. It was I'll go again, in my basement, most anxious time probably of my life. That like I'd wake up at 3:30 in the morning with anxiousness like you wouldn't believe. And that's why I'm very big into mental health, in the sense that I think it's so hidden in the background. And mental health, it's not fair how hidden it is in the background. If I didn't get help when I started the company, like go talk to someone when I wake up at 3 in the morning, I don't know if I'd be here today. I mean, I would say I wouldn't be. I just don't know. When I say I wake up at 3:30 in the morning with anxiety, I'm like, how does the anxiety go away? And it's just like, where that thinking goes. And we're all humans. We're all very similar in a lot of respects, but a lot of times we feel so alone, and you can't go to your loved ones because you don't want to worry them. But that's the history of Benzinga from back in the day. And I can go more into that, but I don't know. And then I promised myself I wanted a job at a hedge fund, and I finally got this thing through Dan Loeb and this Dan Loeb Digest. But I said, if I ever have a company, I'm going to take the person who writes that email to me. They didn't go to school, but I want to hire the people that weren't given chances. Like that's what I want, because like I definitely had a knowledge base in the market. I was good with my small cap companies, and I had a track record. I kept a track record, a journal like we have in Benzinga Pro now. I kept that track record so I could show hedge funds, but it was hard to get that door opened. And I promised myself, if I ever found people like me that didn't have the door open, that I'm going to open that door for them. And it's gotten harder over time, but you know, these days you can just prove yourself. So, and there's a lot more on the mental health stuff and the stuff I went through, but suffice to say, it was and it like a scary, anxious time, waking up at 3:30 in the morning, having a 6-month-old, having no money. I mean, that was like, I don't know, I started 2009, 2010, 2000. I mean, here, what year? This was an unemployment check that I had from 2007, you know? So we've all been in places where you have no money, you know? Like, I mean, not we all, I'm just saying we all been in places. And I think we need to all identify that we're all just on this planet trying to do great stuff, build cool shit. But when you're doing this business at that time, I couldn't imagine, like I couldn't see that future. I actually have a couple of videos on my phone that I should have gathered of me waking up at 3 in the morning, and I said a speech on the phone like, "This is how, you know, whatever." Okay, we'll go. So that's that. And I can talk more about mental health later, but I know we don't have a ton of time, and Luke's probably pushing me along. Okay, so the name Benzinga, it's a interesting name. It's an interesting name for sure. It was going to be called Raz Report or Raznick, but Raznick only because like Bloomberg, and I couldn't really think of names. I really like I have a bunch of domains, but URLs, whatever. I couldn't think of, like, I was having trouble with names. And then the Raz Report was going to be the name, and I liked Raz Report because I liked Rob Report. And I didn't really like Raznick because I didn't want like my name to be in it, you know, whatever. I want like the forever, but Raz Report, I thought it like had a little ringing to it. And I liked the graphic of Rob Report, that magazine that does like cars. But then I said, okay, well, the chance, you know, most businesses fail. 90% of businesses start up that fail. And I'm like, why do I want to ruin? I mean, I don't want to ruin my parents' integrity. My grandfather's letter to my dad and my mom when I was born here was all about like integrity and carrying on the good name. So I'm like, if this thing fails, I don't want to like sully the last name. And so it wasn't Raz Report, but I had a plan like after 6 months to switch it to Raz Report, but I never did. I never did. I don't know. People say I should do it now. We just did start Raz Report, the show. So we just did start that, but that was the name. Benzinga was kind of a made up word. I went to a speech tutor with my grandfather, and we were making up words. And there was a guy like that I knew too, and the names, and I just thought it had a ringing to it. Benzinga. Me and one of our colleagues did some research because of that Bazinga, and they were around the similar time, a little bit after. But Benzinga was like a word that I didn't go into all this, but in like first grade, our learning research room teacher told my parents that she didn't think I would ever be able to read. So I was one of those late learners, and I had to learn to read a different way. I wasn't like a media guy or a grammar guy. And so I had to read a different way and all that kind of stuff. And so I'd go to speech tutor, and like we'd make up words. I can say some of the other words, but they're just kind of ridiculous, so I'm not going to say them. But like there was this Benzinga kind of word, and that's when I was thinking of names that rang a bell. So, you know, there you go. So by the way, how am I doing right now? If it's like getting boring and I need to like move on, this press like, or if it's good, press 1 or don't press anything. I'll just keep going. So that's how the name is, Benzinga. And I think it's catchy. I like the zings, like our team members and you know, the community here, we're all zingers, and zingers are just awesome people that zing and get it done and are, you know, just awesome. So the problem was though, when you name a company Benzinga and no one has ever heard of it, how do you get your name in the brokerage community? So this is the way it happened. In 2010, there was a thing called the Trading Expo, and it's in New York, and I went there the first time. Remember, I didn't have any budget. I didn't have anything, like I didn't have any of that. So I went to New York, I flew there, I went to Kinko's, I printed up some like a sign, a few different signs. I had these yellow T-shirts that said Benzinga, the Trading Idea Network, and then I like hired like I don't know people who are in New York on Craigslist to work the booth, and then did the same thing in Vegas. And they would walk around and everyone's like, "What's Benzinga?" And that's how we got originally introduced to the world, to the community in the brokerage space. At the time, you know, I told you Thinkers of Ameritrade liked our small cap news feed. We met some other brokerages and they said, well, they would like a new news feed. So we could have stayed focused on small cap. And this is a decision like if we could have just done small cap, but I wasn't taking venture funding at the time. Now, later we did get venture funding, but not a ton, but a little bit. And so a couple of the other brokerages like Lightspeed, it was called at the time, said, we would love to switch to your news feed if you can cover the entire market. And so I said, okay, let me think about it. And so we started covering, I got to take a little sip of water, sorry.
You got more ones in the chat than if we asked people if they like Tesla. So I think that's a good indication that you're on the right track and people love this story.
Okay. I mean, if I'm not, tell me. I can tell more about the mental health stuff. I can tell more about what was on the wall in my basement, but just feel free. I mean, I'm trying to go to 1:30 is the time that Sharon put in there. But that's sort of, yeah. But I'm not even going to say it, Frank, but it is water. Anyway, so I don't even know where the heck I was. Small cap going out to the, oh yeah, I got it. Lightspeed. So Steve Ehrlich, who's now the CEO of Voyager, we just had him on the afternoon show, not Raz Report. So they said, if you can cover more than just small cap, we'll become customers. So I had to make a decision. Do we just cover small cap? Because it could be a nice niche for Benzinga to dominate small cap, and then we're known for that. So if you're looking for a small cap, you go to Benzinga. Holy cow, that was scary. Oh my God. Okay. Riley, I'm on my show, Riley. I'm on my show. You can watch it on YouTube.
Was there today.
Okay. Thank you, Riley. Okay. Sorry, that was my daughter, and I shouldn't have answered, but I thought, you know, that's the daughter that I had home that was 3 months old. And I do think families first. You always want to make sure your family, you know, you take care of family. And so one thing my dad taught me that you'd always try to answer his phone no matter where he was at. And so anyway, but that was a 3-month-old daughter that I didn't think I would be able to support or pay for. And part of that anxiety thing back then, my wife would say, well, if it doesn't work out, Jason, we'll just move in with my parents. What's the big deal? Again, she said, if it doesn't work out, Jason, we'll just move in with my parents, her parents. What's the big deal? Well, I don't know. I don't think that's like the best situation, but I have to be honest, it calmed me down a little bit because I had a 3-month-old. I didn't know where I'd go if this thing didn't work out. Okay. So now we're at the decision of doing small cap versus, you know, the whole market. Well, sometimes the decisions get made a little bit for you. By doing the more of the market, then we can get a lot more customers, and we can get Andrew Weiss wrote, go until the market closes. I don't think so. But it's like if we do the whole market, then we got like 8 brokerages to sign up with us. So that decision kind of got made in the sense it was revenue, and we needed revenue to live. Again, blood, sweat, and tears. I wasn't used to hiring team members. Like I remember the first time I hired someone, and like you had to pay them like $30,000. Of like, what? Because again, it was me robbing from Peter to pay Paul when it was just me. And to get the website developed, here, I'll take you back to there. The guy that built New York Observer, I met him. I Scrappy found this guy. The first site was, you know, he said you can do it with Drupal for $1,850, or a thing called Django for $3,250, I think. $1,850 and $3,250, those numbers sound about right. Now, Bert likes to spend, add an extra zero to that these days. Just kidding, Bert, or 2 zeros. I know it's a bigger site now, but so Drupal was $1,850 or $3,250 for Django. But Drupal, if we did the Drupal way, it would be done in 3 weeks. The Django way would have been done in 9 weeks. So I went the Drupal way. That 3 weeks was probably 6 weeks, and that was a interesting time because then the developer got married, went on a honeymoon, and I had no developer. So then I went to an old site called Elance. Elance is what Odesk and Elance merged, and that's what called Upwork. So that's why I'm very familiar with it. and this one guy, a Noop, came in and like kind of saved it for at that time. All right, so now we're back at the covering the markets. So we were like, let's be the thing behind the thing. So now if you use an online brokerage, you're somehow using us in most places. I believe we're now the largest vendor of news in the North American brokerage space. So if you're talking, you know, Robinhood, Ameritrade, TradeStation, Interactive Brokers, used to be Trade King, but you know, there's hundreds of brokerages. We provide them content, which it's just crazy because it was in my basement, you know, and I 3 months old and I was like, I can't do this thing anymore. Like it was the most stressful, you know, I lived and breathed traffic. So on my wall, and I have photos of it, but on my wall, I had, you need to be at this goal in traffic, this thing here, this number here. Every day I had to live and breathe traffic. And it was crazy. And so it was that kind of pressure that, because you don't know what tomorrow is. I mean, all of us like think about the future, but what happens is you can only control the present. And so you worry about the future so much sometimes. And it's like, you got to stop sometimes and just like focus on the here and now. You may have a plan, but the more you start like thinking about that, all these anxieties in life can pile up. And I've been, you know, getting better at trying to focus in the here and now. I think one of my partner's colleagues, Luke Jacobi, is good at that. He's good at focusing on what's the here and now. And then he uses me to worry about the other stuff. Now he's become a worry on things too, I got to be honest. But probably not as much as me, like how I was back then. Yeah, everyone, if you're on here and you have a brokerage or Yahoo Finance, please, please, please tell them to add more Benzinga content. It would mean so much. These other big vendors like a Bloomberg or what have you have huge budgets. They have like 50 business, no, sorry. They have like 150 business development people reaching out. If you can just, you're in it with us. You're in this fellow Zinger community. We were going to do this internally, and then we talked about doing this externally as well. And that's how this came about, the history of Benzinga. And this is my first time doing this, so I'm probably not doing it great. And I and some of the files I wanted to pull out were like, I mean, these are just stories I have of like, oh my God, Rare Medium, Microsoft, like these stocks that I had in 2000 and CMGI in 2001. It is unbelievable. This is where I got my education, where I lost money by learning about like what not to do in the markets. Literally, you know, don't just chase everyone else, buy great companies, and like, you know, I guess don't sell Amazon at $10. I sold it at $10 Amazon, and it was at $2.20 broker commissions. But this got me my passion, enthusiastic. I'm like, how can I figure out how to beat this market? How can I get better than what's out there? And where is the edge? If I just go and look what everyone else is doing, we're not going to find edge. And that's why we do these communities. That's why we have the pre-market prep. That's why we do the afternoon show. That's why we provide news. That's why we add more writers like Chris Kaji to provide trade ideas that other people aren't doing, you know? And that's why Zinger Nation exists. That's why Benzinga exists. What we strive to do, as you guys know, is provide news and then give you actionable advice that you can take on it. So if this event happens, here are ways, here are ETFs you can go along, here are trades you can go along, here are ideas. So we want to give the power of a hedge fund to the retail investor. So we created Benzinga Pro, pro.benzinga.com, and that's an awesome platform run by a phenomenal team. And the reason we created that is I thought it was unfair that if you're on Wall Street, you see news faster than anyone else. People on CNBC that work on the anchor desk use our platform now. And so it was democratizing Wall Street, giving stuff to the average Joe. Like that's what I thought. I thought it was unfair. And so I still think that an event happens, what do you do to trade on it? So, you know, let's say back to work stocks or the Upworks of the world. And like those kind of intelligent plays that we're able to research and discover through the community is why we exist today. And I said I could just be a trader myself, but it was like, I want to provide tools because I thought I have ways to find information that others didn't. Back then when I started the company, no, and I mean no, you're not going to believe this. No media site. And Twitter was like, I used Twitter aggressively then. This guy, Howard Lindzen, got me on it a long time ago, an old friend, and I used it religiously. No media site was using Twitter as an input source. They were not covering anyone's Twitter. I mean, now it seems so second nature, but I promise you, if you take that rewind button and look at 2010, Not one media site used Twitter as a source. And I even told these media sites, let's like use these, because like I'm not even talking about the CEOs tweeting, but there's traders that are really good. Cover them. And by the way, I know we don't Benzinga do a great job there yet either. Like we're always striving to be better. But that was part of the thing. Like, why is so that was back to the why, like, we're in a newsroom, but like information can come from anywhere. So we use Twitter as a source. We broke a big FDA story because of Twitter. And if it did, and so part of my thing was we're going to be the first, publication that is using Twitter and active social networks as a source for content. And that was part of the genesis of the small cap content thing. I forgot to bring that all in together. Now I just want to give you guys a little history of like some logos and shirts. So this one right here was our Raznick Benzinga. I think Neil may have it in the store. He may not. We have a swag store. I'm going to try to do this. Yesterday when I tried this, Jonathan Mallard said my shoulder's showing. So I got to be careful. I don't know how to take this off. I got a lot of shirts on right now, guys. This is not going to be easy. Luke, if you want to come on and say something while I'm doing this, it'll be a good time. Guess not.
All right. If you guys think that his glasses are going to fall off at some point while he's changing shirts, give us a 1 in the chat. If not, you believe his glasses will remain on, give him the 2 vote of confidence.
So this one, it's good. Thank you. So this was this one. Is this to say the Train Idea Network, I think?
Yep, it is.
Okay. So that was the yellow, the Train Idea Network. This was the orange, with a faded gradient. Neil didn't like gradients, so we have no gradient anymore. I think that was Neil. Okay, we got 2s on this. Okay. I shouldn't even look. I wish I didn't hear that ranking because I think the glasses. Okay, next shirt. Oh, hold on. Oh. All right. Okay. I know this is not that exciting. I'm sorry. I'm no supermodel here. If Patrick Lane was here, I would tell him to take the thing. He's the singer, actor, or Elliot Lane. Okay. So, now we got rid of the Train Idea Network. One of those sites didn't like us using it, but I'm sure we can use it now. And now we are just Benzinga. And I had the URL here. This is very faded. And we have other shirts too, but it's what I could find. You want me to take my glasses? Okay, here. Okay. The white shirt went hard. I have more of this stuff. I don't know. The most classic one is not here. Okay, 1 second. All right. And then, no glasses.
All right, there we go. Everybody who hit the 1 on the glasses, you're the big winner today.
Like and subscribe. Okay. All right, and then we have the current version of Benzinga Detroit. This is where we're headquartered, but we're virtual too. Like you don't have to be in Detroit to build here. And this is where we are. Oh, and I don't even know why I didn't go back to a little bit of the ones. I didn't even go back into why I had that Motor City Singles thing. I got to do all that. Okay. So I'm a big guys. So I'm a big researcher. So back in the day, I wanted to start a wireless company. I'm morphing into me a little bit. So if you don't want to hear about me, then tune out right now. But back in the day, I wanted to create a wireless company that allowed you to pay for stuff and open your hotel room door. I was like going to CTIA wireless exchange business, and I didn't know what I was doing, but I could tell you who every CEO was, every company. I was the best researcher in the world. That's why, that's why I got good at finding undervalued companies. So it started off with doing, that kind of stuff, like trying to do wireless business. So my first real business that got some traction was an online bookstore. See, I have Bloomberg articles printed out, Value America from 1999. I have all my history of all these different businesses that I would try to invest in on sale. But I started an online textbook site, and there was Varsity Books, eCampus, and that was how that was my first thing. That textbook site, I sold over 50,000 textbooks. It was alphabetical order. Yahoo College Books and put us in the 3rd result, and then we started getting crazy amount of orders. There are 18 kids that got free textbooks, all because if I drop shipped it, the credit card went through automatically. But if the drop shipper didn't have it, I got it from the publisher, I literally just did it myself. And then 18 kids, I just never put the credit card into my software and charge them because I'm not great at getting to the little details that are probably the most important to make a business successful. And that's why you have to realize like how to surround yourself. I know I'm not good at those details that are so freaking important. And so 18 kids have books, but that the book business, which we had a lot of books being sold, Borders was right in Ann Arbor, Michigan, where I was. I probably could have sold the business to them for about $5 million back then and had it for a year and a half. But I was like, nah, no, we're going to be the biggest books thing and all that stuff. And so, but then I realized that every book I sold, I made $2 a book or $5 a book. So every order we made like $20. The revenue was like $300 and then $10 to $20. I'm like, what would people pay for that doesn't require to ship any fixed goods? And so that is where I came to online dating. So created these little things, different cities. So you can say different cities and ethnicities. I own the domain still, probably about 150 domains. You think of it in the Midwest, I have the domains for ethnicities, the cities. Detroit was this one. So if you went to the Red Wings Stanley Cup, you would literally see signs everywhere outside it. It was all guerrilla marketing. If you went out in Michigan, I had people, we put them in the bathrooms, signs everywhere. You went to Royal Oak, we papered the place. And I had all these free members and all these different, and I had the site built, multiple sites built for very, actually didn't pay anything, did a rev share with the partner. And why that's important is I was starting these things and I was finding problems to things. Like, so this was solving a problem. There weren't dating sites like there are today. This is way before that. But what I learned is when you're younger, you can do so much research, and I'm good at the research. But what I failed at was like taking that research, getting out of the research. I was reading every book too. People talk to me, what book should they read? What self-help book? I read everything. I was the biggest reader ever. I can tell you so many books to read, but then I wanted to write a book. Don't read this book. Because eventually it's about not reading that book. It's about doing. And that's why we do these shows, because we like say, here are the trades to make. We're not saying, hey, we're not selling you, here's the setup in the future, do this. We're saying take action. What I learned a lot is ideas are good, but they're worthless if there's no execution. So those 18 people that didn't buy textbooks, or the bought textbooks didn't get charged, that's not how a business grows or succeeds. Every inch counts. Every little small thing that is important. So that, you want, someone's asking about the dating thing. I got bored of it. I was like, okay, I got traction and just whatever, and then just moved on. And it was like, but as you get older, you're like, learn, okay, it's not about what you start, it's about what you finish, about what the follow through. All these little inches, like when you go to Benzinga, if it doesn't work to join, or you type a stock quote into the top searching, it doesn't work. Oh my God, that's like going to a store and, you go into the store and it rains 1 out of every 5 times in the store that you're in. That's terrible. And so all these things make up to where we are today. But when I was starting Benzinga and I was waking up in the middle of the night, I don't remember all that history that I have. I don't remember all that stuff that prepared me for it. And so your anxiety gets you to a level that I don't wish on anybody. I don't wish on anybody. And because that feeling's the worst. And by the way, if you have those feelings and you're here at Benzinga or anyone, hit me up, talk to me, because I will help you through it. I've learned stuff to do, and I'm not saying anxiety doesn't still happen, but at that level is a different level. And I've learned, different things like this too shall pass. There's different ways to go about it, but the worst thing ever is to stay inside you, just to like not talk to people. So keep that in mind. And okay, I've given, everything that you do, every inch, raising your level of awareness. The words you use are meaningful. Believing people can impact the outcome is true. Not everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. I get that. And so it's hard for me as a leader. When I built this Blood, Sweat, and Tears, it was really hard for me to hire someone, to pay someone, oh yeah, do this. And I'm like, wait, I did that job and this job. Like, and it's hard for me to transition. And over time I have, and it's amazing to see what this team has accomplished. I mean, our revenue guys, like, you guys know it yesterday with Benzinga, but like, we're a nice 8-digit business, but not like we're growing, but Bloomberg is doing billions. And that's why we need your help in the community to help us. Every single person at Benzinga works so hard. And, or at least the people that, I talk to, I know work so hard. I don't talk to her, and I don't like, not everyone we talk. There's 85 people, but we work hard, and any help you guys can help us. We want you to be in our investor community, our ambassadors. Patrick Lane, Elliott Lane, we have a Benzinga small cap event coming up. We need more investors signed up for it. We need institutional investors. We're hiring a person right now to help us on the institutional investor outreach. So that person, their whole job is to attract investors to our event. That's their whole job. Attract investors to our high net worth investors to our event. There's a lot of jobs like that. Like our social media, our Twitter is kind of boring. I mean, we have 110,000 followers, but we think it's kind of boring. But when I say boring, it can be improved. And by the way that Benzinga is built, there's always a better way. Like the way I'm doing things today, I guarantee will be 90 times different in 6 months, because there is always a better way to do things. There is. And so when I say our Twitter's boring, it's because we know there's a better way, and we just always want to find that way. And it's always the what, not the who. So I know I could, when I'm talking to you guys right now, I could be doing a better job. I'm trying to think of that. And after this thing, I'm gonna send a message to the team and ask, what more should I go into? What other stuff could I talk about? Should I show the unemployment check? Should I show like that stuff? Should I show, it's hard to say like what really is going to interest people. It's hard. So, but this is just a little summary of what we have going. I have a lot of cool flyers and stuff like that I found as I was looking up for things. But it's raising your level of awareness and finding things that will help you in the future. I mean, I spent way too much time doing the research for these businesses, but my textbook business was real. I mean, I was getting orders, and it was crazy. But like, I was printing out. Here was our competitor, Varsity Books, Varsity Group. The founder of Varsity Books went and founded StubHubs, and then got out of there, and then they changed it, Eric Kuhn. And I had all the printouts. So what good is that? And then I'll give you one tidbit of something. But like, as I was reading about it, Wheels America. So I had, for my textbook site, again, it was one of those things. I didn't have a ton of money to spend on advertising. So I asked some people in our office, what do you think I did? I'd say I had $500 to spend. I wanted everyone at the University of Michigan campus to know about it. So what can you do? This is the last thing we'll talk for this one, so I know it's 119. So I didn't have money to really spend on it, and I didn't want to ask my parents. I think my brother gave me a little money. But I had $500. What do you do? There's University of Michigan's a big campus. How do you get everyone to know about your textbook site? There wasn't like a big internal network like that, like where you can post. So it was back to school, and I needed everyone to know about it that weekend. What do you do? Any ideas? Take like a minute if you're in the community to come with ideas. And this is, again, just, trying to be scrappy. And my email is jason@benzinga.com. If you want to send some stuff or bullet points are always a lot easier to read. But well, here's what I did with my $500. It was Notre Dame, Michigan. I went to Kinko's. I printed out these signs for the thing. I went to Home Depot, got 2x4s of wood, and I put them in the ground, like 12 of them. The Kinko's person I made friends with, I don't think they charged me, or if they did, they gave me for like 50% off. Probably spent $15 when maybe it should have cost $200. And Home Depot, I think I got the wood. I don't think I stole it or anything. I think throwing a party would have been good. Hiring kids to pass flyers around the campus, I did that. That is for sure. The other thing I did was airplanes. I had airplanes. So the airplanes went around and flew banners for our website. All right. And airplanes can be expensive. They can be $1,200. There's 3 or 4 services. And so I called them all and I said, all I have is $250. Do you want it to do this? And they said, well, no, it's $650 a minute. One said $450. I'm like, just have $250. And so I did that like at 2:00 on a Friday, 3:00. I'm like, call me back. About 8:30 that night, I got calls from like 2 of the places. And they're like, hey, we can do it. And so at Michigan Stadium, 106,000 people, 106,000 at the time. Now it's 111,000. I know someone's probably going to correct me on that. Where airplanes were flying banners for the textbook site. I must have got 2,000 orders that day. It was the craziest marketing. I spent a total of $250 for the airplane. Maybe it was tax, so $280. Maybe I have the receipt here too. I have the receipt. I have it all. Like I have files on everything. Like Nicole here rips on me because not rips on me. She's like, I print out a lot of stuff. Yeah, I print out a lot of stuff. That's for sure. And so I had 280 on that, and I had the signs up to the campus, and that's how. And then you have articles. You have articles too. But again, Benzinga is about you guys. It's about the community. It's about we're here for you guys. You're a part of our story, and you are the story. Everything that this team does, who gets up early in the morning, who get up late. I mean, we have a guy like Brent Burt, like who've been here many years, and like Spencer. There's just a bunch. Jason Shubnell. It's about you guys, and the thing that we want to get better at is to get more users to find us. We want more people to find us, and it's hard to get out there because you already have your habits. And sometimes people say to me, "Oh, I'm going to create this new app." I don't care if the app's 5 times better, but people already have the habits. So we need your help as the community to help us win together. And I promise you, we're going to be there to pay it back and pay it forward. We want this to be a part of a bigger community. The team members here are on a mission to democratize financial information, not for the elite, but for all of us, and give us better access to stuff so we can make better decisions. Benzinga Pro does that. I promise you, it's not just about the tools. It's the community. It's the chat rooms inside there. I mean, it's everything. I mean, the technology, we need to be better on technology. We need to move faster in development. If you have ideas, let us know because we know there's a better way. I talked to one of our developers today. He's like, we need a pair program. I'm like, then just do it. And that's a thing that I think it's even hard to get communicated here. People don't realize that you can just change on a dime. You can literally change on a dime. This guy, Dan Gilbert, owns a Quicken Loans or Rocket Mortgage and the Cavaliers. He said, he used to schedule his weeks or his months and have goals, but to move at the speed of the game, which it is today, you've got to be willing to change your goals and your things daily and reevaluate what is important. This person said, hey, I think we do way better if these 2 guys program. I like, don't have a long debate. Just try it for 2 days. Say start and go full force in it. And people still don't want to like take that full force dive and just do that, because they want to have sometimes long drawn out meetings about stuff. And as people know, I can't stand meetings that are more than 6 people. It's maybe the ADD nature in me, but I find like things don't get done like they should. And so it's just about doing it and making decisions. It really is. And just committing to it and not being afraid. Again, it's about the what, not the who. We're on the same team at this company. If someone has an idea to try something, then why not try it? Now, the reason, and I use a decision framework for everything. So the reason I try it, so I use a 3-point decision framework. One is, what's the likelihood of success? What does success look like? So if that pair program thing, these 2 people that he wants to match up works, success looks like they get a lot more stuff done, less bugs, and everyone's happier. What does failure look like? It didn't go as well. They wasted a little bit of time by setting it up. And what's the obstacle to success? Having that conversation to commit to it. Okay, so that's just the easiest thing ever. Just do it and start that immediately. But people like to overcomplicate things. And it drives me crazy because like when you're in your basement and you can just make unilateral decisions like, okay, just do it and go. And overcomplicating things sucks. And I just wish everyone would try to simplify. And some things are hard. I'm not saying some things aren't. Like there are some decisions that are hard. That's not. And overcomplicate like a thing, us buying another company for a few $1 million. That's a decision that could change the future of our company. So that one could be more like, what's the likelihood of success, or what's success look like? What's failure look like? Failure's like, and what's the obstacle to success? The money. So those are the decision framework things. And I do the same thing for the stock market. When I bought Upwork, or when I bought GAN, which has been a bad one, what success look like? What does failure look like? So I'm using probabilities, and that's what it comes down to. And this company and I should have said this in the beginning, it's not about me. It truly isn't. As I told you guys, 18 people got free textbooks, and I picked that number out. It wasn't like I had 100,000 buyers of textboops. Maybe I sold 50,000 books, so maybe we had 20,000 buyers or 18,000. I don't know, but whatever it was, people got free books. But I knew where the list was to charge them. I just never did it because it wasn't like the thing meaningful. So what I said to you is every inch counts, but every team member counts. There's no way Benzinga is successful without the team. The team is what makes it successful. The team. I don't there's so many good, strong people at our company that like make the experience that you have today so awesome. I'm just a freaking talking head telling this story, and the team wishes I would do this more often. And so that is why, I'm doing this now, and I'm doing more of that stuff. But it's not about me, even though I may get the credit or get the ridicule. I mean, trust me, I've been told to jump off a bridge. I've been told to, worse than that, jump off a bridge. Like one person, like take a long walk off a short pier. We had some earnings data wrong not recently, but like 6 months ago, and I was, blasted. And a couple other things like that. So there's good and bad with this stuff. It also makes it harder to buy a house, that's for sure. Remember I had like max credit cards, so my credit score took a hit because I didn't have money when I started the company at all, and so I had to max credit cards. I had to rob Peter to pay Paul, and still trying to build that up. I remember I couldn't buy a house. It was a whole freaking thing until I had to get to the head of Chase in Michigan, and he helped. But it was just, those are the things that you don't think about when you're doing these things. You just don't think about it. And then the only way the company is successful, if the team really is committed to it. By the way, if you're not committed to it, if you're not bleeding Benzinga, like all that, there's other things to do. Like I want to build with people that get excited about Mondays or get excited about any day, because you're not going to always be happy or excited. So you need other people to bring you up when they're down, And there's a guy, Jonathan Miller, we both do that to each other. There'll be days, we both do that to each other. And when the tech isn't going the way me and him want it to go, we try to bring each other up. And those are the guys that I'll do anything for, because they want to build and they'll do anything to make stuff successful. There's other people that play victim role. And, like we just did that interview in New York, and one of the video guys was going to come with us. Oh my God, I turned this ringer off. Jeez, telemarketer. One of the video guys was going to come with us, couldn't come. So the easiest thing to do would have been to reschedule the interview with Dave Portnoy, but I didn't want to risk that. What if he's not available? So what I do? I didn't go and like cry me. I didn't cry foul. I didn't go ask him else. I didn't go say, guys, we need a developer. We need this. No, I literally said, I got to react right now. My flight was taken off in 2 hours. I had to leave for the airport. Do I change flights? Do I this? I reached out to 2 people who are local, like, hey, you want to come to New York for the day? They weren't going to move on a dime like that. Most people aren't. I went on Craigslist, put an ad in New York, got like 15 inquiries, found an amazing guy, Matt Levine, and he came and did the video, and he was awesome. Where there's a will, there's a way and a solution. So if there's anything I could say to finish this thing out, the ideas are cool, but it's execution and follow through that counts. I showed you these different businesses, my different folders of all these different things. I didn't show you this one, my meticulous notes. Like I would take notes for all these things, of all these my list, how I went about this. Oh, this was the one I used for the online, the airplane stuff. Wait, there was one other thing I wanted to read. And guys, it's not like I didn't read, it's not like I don't look at quotes. Here's a quote that I found from way back when. Okay, so thoughts determine what you want. Thoughts determine what you want. Actions determine what you get. Again, thoughts determine what you want. Actions determine what you get. It's kind of a powerful thing, and that was where I had a lot of research. And someone told me this is back in 2000. It's a known fact people can't work at home, because I was doing this at home and they're saying I need to get an office. Now we're all home, or a lot of us are home. So, at the end of the day, like those things can be motivating at times. So I read that stuff and it helped me. But again, like it's being solution oriented and finding solutions when you don't think solutions exist. And that's what I did with the company and going out there. And now we have a great team that hopefully everyone learns to do that and find solutions. When you can't, find someone to go do video and you need to go the day before, you need really high quality video people. What do? I say our social can be better, and I haven't done a ton of research on it to go find someone. I just haven't spent the time. So it's priorities, but I also just didn't spend the time. Sometimes others can do it or whatever. It's whatever people want to step up and do. And that's why I use the power of the community. So I thank you for listening. I'm babbling a little bit right now, but if you're ever looking for an opportunity where you think you're driven or people that can be helpful to us, email cool jobs at benzinga.com. Write a few bullet points on why you think you could be a badass or someone you know. And if you have any brokerages that if you use a brokerage and you could say, please, 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 please add Benzinga content, you could CC licensing at benzinga.com, or just not CC, email licensing at Benzinga, or whatever. You can do whatever you want. But we need you guys more than ever. And this is about, we're here for you, and we'll build the tools you want. I promise you, we'll build the tools you want and the content that you want. And we will not give up. We will do whatever it takes, because here's another quote I wrote down. To succeed, such and such succeeded because he had the courage, determination to refuse defeat. And again, thoughts determine what you want, actions determine what you get. You guys may have an idea of something that you want us to build. We don't know about it if you don't tell us. So like, we're spending the time that we do because we care, and Zingers care, and we have a great team. So we're here for you. Let us know. And thank you for listening to the first edition of Benzinga History. And I know I could do better. It was just a stab. And the people that aren't at Benzinga anymore that were here, they made a tremendous impact for us too. They built great stuff, and you know, it's the legacy of them to what they've done to make it to where we are today. And we appreciate you greatly. And I'm glad I didn't get teary-eyed. I did give a TEDx talk a while ago about this journey, and I talk about Duarchy, and I do cry a few times on it. So, or I get chinny, or my chin goes. You know what I'm talking about. So thank you again, guys. If you enjoyed this, I guess hit the plus. You know, hit the like button. But yeah, like Bert said, let us know what you want to see. Yes, you should, Max. You should buy that How I Invest My Money book from Josh Brown. I bought 20 of them. I'm gonna give them away for the shows. If you want to wait a month or so, then you know, show everyone the Benzinga chest tattoo on the way out. No, they don't want to see my chest. I gotta get in shape. If there's anything else I missed, guys, or I know I didn't mention everyone's name, and I apologize for that. Everyone who's been here in the past and here now, you know, contributes. I'm just the ugly talking head, I guess. I don't know. Whatever it is, it is. But thank you, guys. Thank you. Joel, yeah, we're not ready for that. We love you. And if there's any advice, email us. And don't think you have to procrastinate on your email. That was my problem. I wanted my emails to be perfect, so I procrastinated my emails. Perfect is the enemy of good. If you have an idea for us, you can email me at jason@benzinga, or licensing@benzinga.com, or events@benzinga.com. If you want to help on our small cap event, do that. We need your help. We want to make it the best event ever for the small cap event. We had 100,000 people there. Events@benzinga.com. What I say is, if you're going to think anyways, if you're going to spend time thinking, like I did it with my dating site, my textbook site, if you're going to think anyways, why not think big? Why not think huge? And that's what the B is about. B is about, over here. B is about bold. It's about big. So if you're going to think anyways, think big, think bold, email us, you know, I don't know, just do it, be involved. Let's go. Let's join us. You know, if you want to sponsor the small cap event, email patricklane@benzinga.com, and let's go from there. But thank you guys for the history of Benzinga. And someone's probably going to say, that guy can sure talk. Yeah, you know, I talk too much, but I wanted to share this story because I'm really passionate about it. And I'm passionate about it because it's not just about what we're doing here. It's about how we can change lives with better information, and the team members here that are doing it. And hopefully, you know, they want to learn new stuff just like I do. All right. Thank you. Have a great day. And we're out. Luke. That's it.
That's it. Let's do it.